this episode we're doing is called Fiber Arts Tag.
Well, yeah, we're extra.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about
well, there's
us.
There's a tag. Yeah, there's a tag that's been going around on both Instagram and other podcasts.
Yes.
Where there's a set of like 25 questions, and just to learn a little bit more about your history as a knitter and a crafter, etc. So we thought, hey,
why not?
This sounds like fun.
It is.
Why not? Right?
And it'll be interesting because I'm sure there's stuff that neither of us know about each other, and there's stuff that you guys probably don't know about us either.
Maybe.
But
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So why don't we start? Aryn's going to be reading the questions.
I've got the questions, and some of these I don't even think you read through them. I did send them to her like 2 weeks ago, but I don't think she's.
I read a couple, and that was it.
Yeah. Okay, so number 1. Who are you?
Am I going first?
I don't know. Who are you? I'm Aryn.
I'm Tiffany.
Yeah. Is that all we need to say for that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
You want a little bit of it? Like to know a little bit more about me?
Sure.
I'm an only child.
Okay, I'm not. Well, this goes back to how we're talking about how we're complete opposites.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm an only child, and tell people how many brothers.
I have 3 brothers, all younger brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's the oldest, and I'm the oldest, the middle, and the youngest.
Yeah, you cover all the boxes.
And I actually come from a family that are only children. My parents are both only children.
I do not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very different growing up. And it's funny because that's where her daughter and I get along very well because we're only children.
Yes, whenever I'm griping about certain things about her personality, she's like, she's an only child.
I say it all the time.
Yeah.
And they're just not used to it. And it's hard. It definitely is hard if you have an only child and you're not an only child. We do things differently. And like we don't keep secrets. We don't believe in secrets.
Well, she's also little too.
But it's not, it's just, you keep a secret because sometimes, yes, they're good and sometimes they're bad, but you know.
Yeah, she just.
But yeah, so that's a little bit about us. I'm very outgoing. There's
I'm not.
A bit about us.
Basically, anything she's going to say about her personality, just assume I'm the opposite. Okay?
And it's funny because she is.
Yeah,
and
the opposite.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay. Next question.
So, we could go on and on about who we are, but
totally.
we have more questions. So number 2, when, why did you start knitting, crocheting, or spinning, or weaving? So only one of those apply to you.
Yeah, I've never actually. I did crochet. I learned how to crochet, and I've done a crochet project or 2. I don't spin. I don't weave. And I started knitting was when I was, I think, 7. My grandmother taught me how to knit. She used to knit all of these beautiful sweaters for me. She'd look at me, ask me what I'd want, what yarn, what kind of sweater, and she'd measure me and just knit it up, and I'd have a sweater. And it was phenomenal. I think I actually still have one. I think I still have one that she made before she passed away when I was 12 or 13. The last sweater she ever made me, I think I kept just as just something to have as a remembrance. So she was the one who taught me to knit. I knit for a few years when I was little, and then I stopped. And then I think when I was about 19 or 20, I picked up knitting again, and since then I have not put it down.
Cool.
And I love it. Yeah. Cool. And you?
I think that happens with a lot of people where they learn and then they put it aside and they come back to it. Because I can't tell you when I learned. And I can't tell you who taught me. I'm assuming it was either my mother or my grandmother. But I do not actually remember learning.
I remember.
Obviously I learned, but I do not remember learning.
Just make scarves.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah.
However, first year university, I remember picking it back up again because I just wanted something to do, and I wanted to make a specific something for a specific person, and so I got it up. I brought it out again, and I had a book, and it was before, where you could find everything on YouTube and stuff. So it was like all the little pictures of showing you what to do and stuff, and I made the thing and whatever. And then actually, and even then it didn't really hit me. I think I made that one thing and that was good. Like I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm done. And then after university, I got a job. Do you remember Lewis Craft?
I do.
I got a job at Lewis Craft.
That just dates us both.
Yes, because they are gone.
They're gone. But that was a better store than Michael's. I can't say that. It's a different store than Michael's.
It's a different store. It was a family owned. It was family owned versus Michael's was
But it was all craft store. It was really crafts.
Yeah. And even then, when I started working there, I did not consider myself I knew enough about knitting to help someone who needed help.
Right.
But I was just knitting, whatever. And then I dabbled, and then after Lewis Craft went, because if you're Canadian, you remember that.
Yeah.
I got a job at Mary Maxim.
That's right.
And that's when it started to take off.
Right.
And that's also when Ravelry came in, and that's when independent designers were coming in. That's when it really
And it's funny.
Shot, yeah.
The Mary Maxim used to work at, I used to pop into that store when I was in the
it was
area.
downtown. It wasn't the one, if you're familiar with the Mary Maxim, it
There's
was
only
not the
two.
one in Paris, it was the one downtown Toronto.
Downtown Toronto. And I used to pop into that shop and she worked there, and I'm sure we probably crossed paths and never even knew it.
And then I moved out of the city. Bye. Yeah. So, yeah.
Next question.
Next question. What is your favorite or proudest make?
Mine would be my Amy Herzog sweater. Thank for Aryn to sew it together for me, but my proudest make, even though it has design elements in it, it fits me to a T.
It looks really nice on you.
Thank you.
It looks like a really nice, like just a nice
I love
sweater.
it. I do. I love it. That is probably my proudest. Besides the lace chalette that I did by Laura Nelkin. Yeah, of course, and those are my two girl crushes. But yeah, like, oh my God, and with beads in there. And that was the first time I did both, a lace chalette with a bead. And yeah, and I think that barely has a design element in it, if maybe one. But those are my two proudest moments. Cool. All my other, like, I love knitting, and all my stuff to me is I'm proud of.
But that's what comes to mind.
Those are
when you think of your proudest
absolute
makes,
favorites.
What comes to mind.
Yeah, like even better than my first pair of socks I ever knit. Like, you know, those are what comes to mind. Was that the question? Just my proudest moment?
Okay. What is your proudest make?
I know what yours is.
I brought mine.
I know, because she had to show it off.
I had to show it off because I think it was way before. I think I showed it right when I joined.
Yeah, you showed it once on the podcast.
So it was like 2 years ago is when I last showed it. So
yeah, this year's gonna be 2 years.
2 years since I joined.
I think it's since March.
You've been podcasting longer.
I know, but still.
I joined about 2 years. So this, I didn't even button it because I grabbed it from the closet.
That's okay, but you want to show the inside.
And I just want it to be together. This is my proudest make.
It's amazing.
Okay. So this is a sweater I made for Avery, like, I don't know, 2 years ago or something, a year ago. Yeah, I guess it would be 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of this sweater because it was part of the Child for All Seasons, their very first season. And I had to, the sweater, the pattern that it was based on was a pullover, and I had to modify it to be a cardigan. So I had to steek it. I had to change the design to work for a cardigan. I had to add the cable to the back. I had to change the hood to make it work. I had to, like, I did all this stuff that was just a lot of, I'm not a pattern designer, so I don't get pattern math.
Somehow she does it every time, though.
Well, I had to, I had to wing some stuff, but there was just a lot of stuff that I had to figure out to make what I wanted in my head to work. Yeah. And when it did, and it just looked really cute, I was just really proud of this.
Love it.
This is one that I'm never giving to anyone.
I don't blame you.
Even if Avery never wears it again, it's going in a box. Like, this is not going anywhere. Never, ever, ever, ever. And this is not washable yarn, so yeah, it's never going anywhere. I will keep it.
Washable yarn?
It's not like superwash.
It's not superwash. It can be the machine.
So like this, this is gonna be.
Look at
like
you'll
have to pry this out of my dying hands. Like, this is not going anywhere. So this is my proudest make.
That's awesome.
Easily. As soon as I saw that question, I was like, I knew the answer.
I knew exactly that would be the one.
I also knew the answer to the next question.
What's the next question?
Was what was your most disastrous make? I knew the answer to that one too.
I don't know if I really have one. That's like a tough one for me. There's nothing where I've oh, actually, yes, there is. I don't know if it's, and I talked about this before. Remember I was doing, I had this rayon yarn that had sparkle in it, silver, gray sparkle, and I was working on the plain on it, and it was a full lace-on pattern for it, and it was supposed to be a nice long kind of stole scarf, and this guy on the plane was talking to me when I was flying back from Boston, and I don't remember. I was trying to do a stitch, and I try not to be rude and say shh because I was trying to do my stitches, and somehow he made a mistake on my stitch or something, and you tried fixing it, and we couldn't. I ripped that whole thing out. Yeah. That was a disaster. Since then, I've never picked that yarn up.
Okay.
That's
a make that never was.
It never even happened. Got to be. But if I had to have like a make, I don't really have anything that I've made.
Okay, do you have anything that you're, because like part of the one I picked was, it was not just that it was a disaster, but it was more like, I'm slightly embarrassed about it too. Is there anything that you were embarrassed about after you made it? Like, you're like, I wouldn't want someone to know that I made that? No.
I never had one of those. But I did my first sweater. Yeah. My first sweater was too tight under the arms. The sleeves were too tight. It was like a Barocco knit V-neck. And it was like a heathered yarn, which I didn't really like. And that was when I started getting back into knitting. I went to go take a course. And they were like, what do you want to knit? And I said, a sweater. And the lady looked at me like I was crazy. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, well, you're just starting to back. There's a beginner course. And I said, yeah, I'm jumping both feet in.
I
I want
want
to
to
do a sweater.
And
I did. And I did it. I did it. I was very proud of myself that I did it. And it turned out really nice. It's just, it was too small in areas.
It just didn't,
Unfortunately now I
fit and stuff.
I donated it away. I would have never worn it. And
I've donated lots.
It's gone. It's gone. So I'm good.
Lots of bits.
Yeah. But I don't have anything that's been disastrous besides
well,
that
okay,
one
I wouldn't.
where I tore that in.
I know it depends on your interpretation because I wouldn't call the project that I brought a disaster.
No,
it's just if I think about most projects I've made, I would be proud to say I made them. Whereas this one,
just like the girl next door made it.
I don't know who made it.
Oscar the Grinch.
Was me. Wasn't me. I didn't make it. But so it wasn't that it was a disaster.
Right.
Because there's actually a lot of elements to it that I'm very proud of. Like you were talking, that was your first sweater.
Yeah.
You're learning. This was if not my first, one of my first sweaters.
And it's and it show it because
because we've been talking about the sweater because Dennis has been waiting 10 years for a new sweater.
Yeah.
So the project I picked for most disastrous, it was the first sweater I made him. And like you can see, like it's heavily cabled.
Yes.
For this being my first or second sweater,
it's crazy insane.
I mean, I think I did a good job, but the yarn is not the greatest yarn. Look how wide it is. Like it has just.
I don't even know if it fits on the screen.
Like 2 of me, and I'm not a tiny person. It's
and
2
Dennis
of me wide.
is not this big for sure.
Dennis isn't this.
This is like a cropped sweater for Dennis.
It's gone all weird and like short, and the problem is that he would still wear it. And not because he loved it because I made it, but because he just wanted to irritate me, right? Because he knew I hated
him.
Oh,
how nice.
I know, he's such a nice man. He knew that it
bothered you.
It bothered me when he wore it because I didn't want him to be like, oh, my wife made this sweater.
Yeah.
And so he'd wear it anyway. And so like, it's just, like this is the thing I would burn if I could, but we'd talk about how we're going to, the idea was to change it and turn it into pillows.
That's
like,
right.
Take the body.
She wants to cut it and make
it. Take the body.
Repurpose it.
And not
repurpose like rip out the yarn, but basically cut the sleeves off.
Yeah,
and then seam it and make it a pillow or two or something.
But like, I mean, this is the sweater where I learned how to drop down cables and fix them. So there's a lot of good things in this sweater.
That's good.
But it's just this is the project.
This is the one you want to keep in the bottom of the drawer and never pull it.
This is the one that I don't want anybody to ever see again. And it's just So this is going back in the bag now, and no one ever until
no one sees it ever again. Until it becomes pillows.
Yeah, until it becomes pillows. All right.
Next question.
Do you have a favorite place to buy yarn or fiber, online or local? This is a tough one. Because I would have to say no, I don't.
I don't either.
Not anymore.
There's way too many indie dyers out there that I love, and most of my yarn does come from indie dyers now.
And like I did have a local shop that I liked, and they just stopped. It was a quilt store that started carrying yarn, and it got to where they had a really nice selection of yarn, and then they stopped carrying yarn, and it's back to just a quilt store. So I don't have a local store.
But for sure, well, we don't have a local store, but we do love Lynn, the Purple Sock. We do
love
going after her.
Local store, that would be my local
Oh my god, I love her stuff. I like Michelle's stuff too.
But I never shop there.
I pop in there, but I see her at the shows though. Yeah. But I pop in there. She's seen my stuff. But
there isn't one place.
Lynn, my closest.
Yeah, I would say Lynn. Yeah, I do.
But still, like online shops.
Yeah, we buy from various. There isn't one online shop that I always go to, and there isn't one store that I always go to. So I would say no. I do not have a favorite.
Yeah. Next question.
What is your most used or most loved pattern? I know what my answer for that is.
I know what her answers for that is.
Yeah. Do you know what my answer for that is? Yeah, I've only made like 10 of them. You don't tend to make patterns over again.
I don't. I don't. But I don't.
If you had to, is there one that stands out?
Well, it's funny because I was gonna make a Martina Bem pattern again this year, and then I did the Frizzen instead. But my 2 favorites so far pattern makers for my accessories would be Lisa Much and Martina Bem. But yeah, I don't.
But there isn't one pattern that you would go back to over and over again.
I don't think I have one of those because I like doing different things. Yeah. I like doing.
Well, see, I think also it's because you're a selfish knitter, and you don't want 10 of one.
I don't want the same pattern for myself all the time. But like I might make the same shawl, like that's what I'm thinking right now is making another shawl the same, which is the Yowza one, just because I love it.
You
the
wear
simplicity
that one all
of
the time,
it. Now I do because it's squishy and warm. Even though I still have that herringbone scarf, but so yeah, no, I don't because there's too many designers out there for me not to love them all and yeah.
Always do different patterns. Yeah.
Why not? that's what's so fun about this is that there is so much out there. So
so much out there. Yeah. could easily say that my most used.
Oh, we know.
I don't know about most loved because I love a lot of patterns. And
Right,
a lot of
but
love
most
design.
used.
But my most used is definitely the in threes.
See, I even knew that.
The in threes pattern. I have made, I think, 7 of them.
That's crazy.
And it is my go-to for girls because we've talked about the whole boy
It's a baby girl gift pattern.
But it is my go-to for needing a baby girl gift. And shortly behind that would be the Entrechat, who is also Lisa Chemery from the one I just did.
That's right.
Yeah, so those two. In threes, I think I've made more, but Entrechat is closely behind them.
Yeah.
Your most dreaded knitting, crocheting, or spinning task? Can you guess what mine is?
Your pattern socks?
No.
Well, mine would be, does weaving in ends count? Because that's exactly
I knew that. I knew. I was like, I know yours was either going to be
if you ever
seaming or end weaving
all of that
or
stuff.
that kind of stuff.
Because I have socks that I still haven't worn because the ends are not woven in because I haven't asked Aryn to do them.
Okay, so what do you think mine is then? So we talk about it all the time. What do I hate doing?
There's a couple things you hate, but which one do you hate the most? Is the question.
Like
I can.
It's a task. I would consider it a task. I don't know. Some people might not consider it a task because I love most things about the process of knitting. Like because I'm a process knitter.
Yes.
But I hate sleeves.
Yeah, you do. So is that a?
I consider that a task because it's part of.
Yes, it is.
Because, like, if you consider it, weaving ends and seaming is part of...
But that's the finishing part.
I know, but it's finishing, but it's part of making that item.
That's right.
And, like, if you're doing a sweater that has sleeves in it,
that's right.
Making those sleeves is part of that item. And I hate making those sleeves. I hate sleeves. I hate them. On the other hand...
Seaming.
Next question.
Oh.
What's your favorite task? Flippity flip. I love weaving and finishing.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Love it.
My she
loves.
Love it.
Yeah, I love it.
See, I don't have a problem doing sleeves. I told her one day we should just switch. She can do that.
You do my sleeves and I'll do all your finishing. I love
because most of her stuff she knits on is usually worsted or, DK. It's very rare she does a fingering weight sweater, so I'm okay with that. Yeah. But what I love, I just love knitting. Mm-hmm. I don't like cables. Did I mention that?
See, I love cables.
It's not that I hate them. I wasn't a super fan of them. I just because I think I
love anything that's a little bit challenged. Like that's why I love the seaming and stuff because for me it's a challenge. It's like how good can I make this look? I enjoy that.
She does. She see my sweater, but I love knitting. I love learning new techniques or I love doing new texture stuff. I just love knitting, especially because it's for me.
Okay, this one should be easy for both of us.
Okay,
what is your favorite crafty entertainment?
Podcasts. I love knitting podcasts.
Yeah, and there's so many to choose from now. There's like, I remember when there was only so many.
Right.
You'd get to where you watched all the most recent
7
episodes.
Years ago, or 8
and
years
you'd be
ago.
like, oh my gosh, what do I do now? I've watched all the episodes. Now that's not a problem.
No.
There's like hundreds. And hundreds of podcasts.
And people come up with new podcasts every day now. It's not like there is even a shortage.
No. So I always have something in my watch later tab. There's always something in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so for patterns, this should be easy too, because I think we'd have the same answer.
Okay.
For patterns, do you prefer books, magazines, Ravelry, or would you rather design your own?
Ravelry.
Yeah.
Books, I don't feel like schlepping a book with me everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd rather just like, if I had to photocopy something out of there and keep it with me. Patterns, like, I don't mind a pattern. But crinkling up the pages and like that drives me nuts sometimes.
Yeah, but even just the source, like even if you print them out and you have them, I find the source. I love Ravelry as a source of patterns. The patterns that you find from independent designers are just so much different than now. I would compare like because the ebooks now that ebooks have come out, those are independent designs in a book form.
But that's
and
different
I still like
online.
I
still like the online feature. How I still like the
PDFs. But like I remember when the majority of patterns you could find were like from publications and magazines.
Right.
And when I compare that to what you can find on Ravelry in terms of independent designers, I love the independent designers. Like that's where I go to when I'm looking for a pattern.
And I use my I know people like to print patterns and use them.
I know. I tend to use my drive like on computer.
Right. That's what I use
and a notebook just to mark down stuff.
You
use your Knit Companion.
I use my Knit Companion because I love it, and I can put charts in there, and it follows it, and it keeps me where I am, and so yeah. That's
why I put on my bingo card to use some of my books because I have all these books.
She does.
All these books, and I don't want to get rid of them because I did get rid of a lot of them that I knew I would never, ever, 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 ever use, and I just kept the ones that I probably never, ever use. But
that makes
I
sense.
like having the books, so
I don't blame you. I have a couple books.
I need to use them, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I put that on my. It's gonna be a challenge, but I put that.
I
on
have
my
technique books, and then I have probably the odd couple pattern books.
Yeah, I have a lot of technique books and stuff. Okay,
I bought a book once because there was one pattern in there I liked.
Yeah,
that was it.
That's the thing.
That's the other thing too. Sometimes that bugs me is when you can go online and buy the one pattern instead of buying the whole book that you might not wear any other pattern out of. Yeah. Next.
What is your favorite brand of knitting needles, crochet hooks, or spinning wheel? If you do all that stuff, so. Okay, I found this one I was thinking about, and I think the obvious answer is because we both have the same set.
Hiya.
Hiya.
Totally.
However.
Oh, and Hiya Sharps.
I have a however.
But
I think that's only because for me, I haven't found a set that I like better.
Except for Chiago's now.
Only if, see, the thing is though,
for socks.
If Chiago, and maybe they do, I don't know, if Chiago made a set of their regular sizes with that thin cord that they're doing for the socks, I would be all over that set. But as far as I know, their regular size tips have that thicker cord.
Oh, okay.
And I don't like the thicker cord.
Well,
I love that thin cord.
Right.
Because the Hiya's, I love the tips.
Love the
tips. But the
tips.
one gripe I have with them is that their cords tend to have little snaggy bits where the plastic meets the metal. Sometimes.
The odd time, but you just return them and they'll take them back and give you
I know, but sometimes it's been like, I find sometimes it's even not right when you get them. Like they...
Oh, over time you mean?
Over time.
Is that the green cords?
No, I'm dealing with one right now that's a blue cord.
Oh, so they're older cords.
So I don't think it did that before. It's just I don't know if they loosened out of them, but
they're green
somehow...
cords, new ones now.
There's a little...
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like
cord
a snag.
issue. There's a little cord issue. And
yeah,
I can deal with it because I love the tips and I love the size. I like how I can do long length or short length, and I love I love all that stuff. But I wouldn't say that I love my Hi's, but it's only because the other ones I've tried, like I've tried the Royales, they're okay. Don't love them. I've tried the Carbons, they're okay. I've tried the Litka, they're okay. Like out of all the needles available, I like the Hi's the best.
Whatever they're called.
People say different things.
Well, I like the Hi's, I do, but I do like my Luettes because I like my square needles.
Yeah, I haven't tried those.
And the other ones I forget who makes my square needles.
Collage or something.
Collage, thank you. Yeah, I do like my square needles. I like the way they knit. Oh, and she makes they're wooden square needles. The first pair I ever used, what I bought at Ryan back in 2013, and I forget, she's out of Michigan. I can't think of the name right now. Mountain something. I just remember her name was Pam. She was super sweet. And I have a pair of those, and that was my first square. So I like the square needles, and I do like the Hi's. I have a pair of Carbons I haven't that I used, and you know what? I think I used them for. I think that's what I'm knitting my Wonder Woman shawl on, the Carbons, and I don't notice a difference with them.
But like I haven't found any needles that I've tried most needles, and I just haven't found any that
usually tries almost all of them.
Yeah, blown my mind and oh my god. So Hi is the closest to that. For spinning wheel, I can't say I have a favorite because I only have one, and it's the only one I've ever used. I have a Magic Craft Little Gem. I love it, but it's the only one I've used. So, what is your favorite notion or tool?
Well, that saves my butt every time.
Yeah,
is like one of those little crochet hooks.
I was gonna say, so I looked through and I found my 3 that I use that I really like, and that's one of them. These little things.
Yeah.
Now I have one that has a little point, and I really like it too. But yeah, this is I use these things all the time.
It saves my butt.
The little hook.
Sometimes you drop a stitch, and it's the only thing that you can do to get picked it up, depending on what your project is. It saves my butt every time.
Yeah.
That and a ruler, like a measuring tape, because. 2 things.
Use that all the time too.
Honestly, those 2 things can save you. That little hook could be used as a stitch marker if you needed to hook something on. Like you can use it in so many ways, but it saves your butt. Trust me, it's the best 2 things I can say.
Yeah, I also like not so much now because just the way I keep track of patterns has changed. I used to be obsessed with those click counters. I had 6 of them.
You mean those row
counters?
I never used those. I used to use the digital ones that just came out recently.
I didn't like the digital ones.
I like those ones when I need to count a row, but now
these guys. I had 10 of these.
God.
Just so that I always had them in my. Avery likes playing with them.
That would drive me nuts.
I loved these. I don't use them as much now, but I love these. And then the other one I found that I just think I really like is this.
Oh yes, I have.
Yeah, I think this is just such a cool tool. The end bud gauge ruler. I just
The
think
fact that I still can't use it properly, we're good.
I just think it's a really cool tool that does the job.
Well, it has the ruler
and it's not expensive, and it does what it needs to do.
Stitches, yeah.
What is your current favorite project?
Oh, for Aryn, that'd always be socks.
No, I wouldn't say socks. I think they mean specific project, not type of project. I guess you could take it either way. I was gonna say my scrap projects, my granny stripe.
My favorite projects are always hats. Yeah. I love knitting hats, and it's not a current. I don't have one right now.
Those are my favorite projects that bring me joy to work on.
I love hats.
But types of projects, maybe socks, sweaters, Avery garments. I don't know. I like them all.
I love hats are my favorite because they're the quick knits for me that I can get done. But if I'm knitting something, it's usually because I love it. Because I knit for myself, so I'm picking things that I love to knit.
I heard that answer a lot when I've watched some of the other ones. They're like, whatever I'm working on right now, that's my favorite. Right.
But it's not current, so.
Well, it's what you're working on.
It's okay.
Anyway. Favorite place to knit, crochet, spin in public? I don't think either of us are
on the
big.
beach.
Okay,
I'm
see, that's
sorry.
where you go. Okay.
Are you kidding me? When I was in Jamaica, that was the best place I could knit, was literally sitting a few feet from the water, watching that crystal blue ocean, the warm air, the breeze, and then someone bringing me my drinks at 9 o'clock in the morning. We're all good. Okay. It was so beautiful. I was in heaven. I think I was listening to podcasts maybe, and until I couldn't get Wi-Fi, and then I was listening to reggae, which, again, I was in heaven.
Yes, I could see that being enjoyable. Now,
second place would be by my pool,
since that's not my reality. I don't go on trips and stuff. Which is
third place would be on this couch.
That's not in public.
No. Oh, sorry, public. So yeah, no, the public.
The beach is public. I don't knit in public a lot, so the only one I can
true.
I don't though.
Whenever we go out, she's knitting. So if I'm driving, that's in the public. When I drive, she knits all the time. Okay. Wherever we go. If we're sitting down having lunch somewhere, she might pull out her knitting.
No, I never do that. I never do that.
You've done that a couple times. When? But it's not like you go to movies and knit.
I don't knit at movies, so I'd say okay, fine. If you consider knitting in the car public, my number one place would be knitting in the car. I don't consider that public. My number two place, which is because it's the only other place I knit with other people around, is at like gymnastics.
It's true. Yeah. That's public.
It's not my favorite place, but it's
knitting in public.
Something to do while I'm waiting for her to be done with gymnastics. What is your favorite fiber arts book?
Oh,
I don't have one.
I don't either.
I would say just generally it's more reference books. I use my reference books a lot.
I have reference books.
Yeah,
I don't use them a lot.
But sometimes if I want a different cast on, or if I want what's the best way to do this kind of seam, or
Google that now. I Google it to find it on YouTube probably, and that's where I find it. But I do have reference books.
Yeah, if I'm going to use one of my books, it's usually a reference book. I don't really have favorite books. Do you have any other hobbies? I do.
Well, yeah, because you go through yours first.
Well, they're pretty much I sew, but not like a ton, but I sew. And I used to do jewelry. I don't really do that anymore. And I do. What else do I do?
She does stitch markers, and she
beading,
dyes yarn,
like
and she spins, and she crochets, and she paints.
Well, should we? I'm not going to talk about that. We might talk about that on the next episode.
And I
haven't painted in years, but after this, I'm going on a little.
She might start
adventure. Yeah.
She's got a beautiful painting in her house right now.
I used to paint a lot.
The winter theme.
It's my abstract snowstorm. She's just teasing me because it's a white canvas.
It's a white canvas. There's nothing on it yet. She used to do beautiful bouquets because she did my bouquet for my wedding, and it was absolutely stunning.
Okay, I used to do a lot of stuff, but
she does, and she does beading, and yeah. So, do I have any other hobbies besides knitting? I have one, but I don't think I can mention it.
Can you whisper? I don't want to know. Okay, no, we're not. PG podcast. We're not talking about that.
I don't know if I have.
That's not a hobby. That's an exercise.
But it's a hobby because I like to do it all the time.
But I wouldn't call it a hobby.
Oh, isn't that what hobbies are about? Something you like to do all the time?
Okay, that's up for discussion. Next question.
I don't think I have either. I don't even know. I like traveling. Is that a hobby?
I
love traveling. That's a hobby. I love to travel. I love to learn different languages.
Yeah, I would consider that a hobby.
I like to. Yeah, I don't know. I like to travel. That's a hobby for me.
It's not
a fiber related.
We're gonna go travel. Okay, that's your hobby.
Yeah. Nice.
If you could meet anyone in the fiber arts community, who would that be? I struggled this one because, you know why I struggled with this one though? Because my first instinct was, you know those questions like, oh, if you could meet anyone in the world, who would you meet? And like you think, okay, famous people, right? And I'm like, I don't know. I know, but that's where my
of course,
brain
that's
went,
people.
right? I was like, oh, I don't know that. I'm not really someone who goes all crazy about famous people. Like, even if I met someone famous, you know, in the fiber arts community, I'd just probably be like, hey, how you doing? Like, I couldn't think of anyone.
Was this a fiber arts like?
But it was just said fiber arts community.
Yeah.
So I can think a bunch of people that I have met online through the fiber arts community, like either through podcasts, or chatting, or Ravelry, that I would go visit if I could.
Or you'd love to meet in person for sure. Right.
Yeah, so I would go, I've already told Dennis like a bunch of places that I'm like, you know, if you ever want to do a trip, we can go here, because I want to meet this person, or I want to meet this person. So
you're supposed to tell who are the people.
Okay, so if condensed, there's 4 places I would go, I think.
Okay.
I think there are 4. I would go PEI, Moira, I'd come and see you. I would go to Colorado if Christy would have me.
I would go to Colorado.
I would go to Kentucky. I have a friend there, and I would go see Jeanette.
Oh my God, yes, I love
Dennis's brother lives in Texas, and I keep telling him, hey.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was like, if you want to go see your brother, they're not that close. But I was like, if you want to go see your brother, there's someone that I would like to meet too.
Are you kidding me? We can go to Texas anytime.
Yeah.
My friend lives there. My girlfriend lives there.
Jeanette, we're coming for you.
Oh yeah, I have so many friends in Texas.
Knock on your door.
Oh my God.
So that once I thought of it that way, then I could think of people.
I met my girl crushes.
Yeah, you've met all the people.
Lauren Elkin, Amy Herzog, Lisa Much. I don't know too many people overseas in Europe for a lot of designers and out there, or and I say designers because those are usually the people. But it's not really about the designers. There's a lot of friends that I've met along the way, like Sandykins. Mm-hmm. I love Sandy, and I would love to go visit her. And I don't have to spend every minute with her.
Hey,
but
Sandy, we're coming for you
just
too.
To come say hi. She would totally love it.
We're just gonna go on.
Just to come say hi and go visit and then tour around, check out knitting places. But see, this is where I love to travel. It's hard because there's so many people. I love meeting people. So to me, I would love to meet anybody in the fiber community because I think that's great. But I don't know, like Martina would be super cool to me. You know, like I love her patterns. I love how she designs. I watch some of her podcasts that she puts out when she does her clubs and stuff. And that would be another person. But so I would just love to travel just to visit people, and I'm good with that. Like when I travel for business, if there's someone that is
you do that,
a yarny friend, I always say, I'm going to be in this area. You want to meet for dinner or knitting, or I'll meet at a yarn shop. Yeah, I'm always down for that. Cool. Yeah.
Okay, so the next couple of questions are like rapid fire.
Okay,
and most of these should be pretty easy for us.
All right.
Okay, first one. Knit or crochet?
Knit.
Weave or spin?
Neither.
If you had to do one, though.
Oh my God. I'd probably try weaving.
Good, because I have no interest in weaving.
She wanted me to pick opposite. I
tried spinning, but like...
I tried spinning, and I didn't really like it.
I spin, and I like it.
It's supposed to be rapid fire. There's no explanations.
Sorry. I have no desire to try weaving, but I wouldn't say no to woven goods.
I did weave when I was little. I did have, I got one of those plastic looms or something I think my mom bought me.
Yeah.
I remember that. So, weaving.
Color or neutrals?
Color.
Sweater or socks? Now, this one's hard for me.
Oh, I go with sweater first, then socks. I don't know. As long as Aryn, puts it all together for me. Even weaving in my ends on my socks.
Yeah.
Actually, my toes are done.
See, this is hard. Okay, like if it was down to like where it was like you can only knit one type of thing like for the rest of your life.
Oh my God, how many sweaters can you have where you can have like so many socks?
I think I would choose sweaters only because there's a variety. Like I think because I like to knit vanilla socks.
Right.
After so much time, you maybe get a little sick of knitting the vanilla socks, right? Whereas just sweaters in general, there's all types of sweaters. So again, I think
rapid fire.
But you need more yarn. I can't do rapid fire. I'm sorry.
You think I talk a lot.
It depends on if I have an opinion. If I don't have an opinion, I can be quiet.
Okay.
I think I would go sweater just because of the variety.
All right, let's go. Next.
Okay, that's it.
Oh, that's it? We're all done?
That's it.
Wow, we did this.
Yep.
That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That's us in a nutshell.
I'm still trying to think of like people I'd like to.
Well, you make that list and then we'll plan that trip, okay?
There's so many, because we're going to yarny events. You meet people, and then everybody's always like, if you ever come visit, let me know, and You know, some people always say, hey, I always have a room for you in my house. And some people be like, well, just let me know if you visit. We'll hang out. We'll get together. And sometimes it's just the off time when you want to get together with someone, you can't because just time doesn't work out. But there's people I do want to meet. Like, so there's a lot of podcasters I watch that I'd love to meet. Like, I got to meet Amber, which is a yarn hoarder, and that was by fluke at SSK. She showed up with my friend Stacy, and I was in awe. And the people that were just swarming to her, you know, it's nice to see that at the same time, but at the same time, I kind of felt bad for it. It's like watching, you know, celebrities that you can't leave your house because you're having pictures taken in your face of you of doing everything from getting out of your car to walking in, you know, do whatever it is, going food shopping or something. And that's where I kind of feel bad because it's like,
but this would just be us going to have a nice little personalized visit. So,
but I would love to. That'd be awesome. Maybe doing a retreat with all your friends in one place at one time
that would be fun too.
Phenomenal.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we're done.
I think that's it.
That was fun. I really enjoyed that. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching this. This is kind of a little unique for us, and it was a little fun to do. Now you get to see the opposites of us and what we like.
Oh, we're opposite in so many other ways too.
Yeah, it's okay. Maybe one day we'll talk about
an
that
opposites. So
an
do
opposites,
an opposites video. Put all the ways that we're opposite. I don't even know why we're friends. You know why we're friends?
Thanks. I appreciate that one.
Knitting.
I love her.
Knitting brings people together.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
You know, because, thanks.
Anyway, yeah.
Now you can tell why we're best friends, right? Because we love each other so much.
That's another video. Yeah.
Alrighty. Okay. Well, thanks for joining. Take care. We'll talk to you soon. Next episode, we'll see you then.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.